Bonjour, welcome to Wahsa Distance Education Center's radio Zoom classes. This is MEL3E, grade 11 workplace math, and I am Bronwyn Slade. If you'd like to participate live today, you can call the Wahsa studio at 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017. You can listen on the radio at 91.9 FM or on the television at Bell Express U channel 972. You're always welcome to join me live through the Zoom link, which is available from me, your teacher, and also your DEC.
Our classes are scheduled Monday through Thursday from 9 till 10 in the morning, and we are in our 7th week of our 9-week course.
At this point, you should be considering submitting some work for marking. The support questions in your IL booklet, the ones marked with the pencil icon, are not for marking. So you decide which ones to do and how many to do. If you are understanding a concept, feel free to skip questions. That is completely fine. But if you need more practice, please ask for it, and I'm happy to supply you with more practice. You need to decide what you need. You know yourself best. The key questions, the ones marked with the key icon, are the ones to submit for grading. So please do all of them, showing all of your work, all of your steps, all of your thinking. This way I can give you credit for all of your understanding. And also, if you're making errors, it helps me understand why you might be making those errors. So it's really useful for me to see all of your process. There are 3 different methods for submitting your work for marking. The first method is to scan your work in and send electronically. So if you have a smartphone, you can scan your work in through the iPhone Notes app or through the Android Google Drive app. Both of them have scan functions. If you're not sure how to do that, let me know. I'm happy to help you. If that doesn't work for you, either you don't have a smartphone or you just can't, those apps don't work for you, you can also take a picture and send it. That's fine. It's just those files will be a little bit larger. Then you can send it either through email to studentwork@nnec.on.ca and CC it to bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca, or you can send it through Facebook Messenger to bslateWahsa. The second method is to drop your work off in Sioux Lookout. We have an outdoor mailbox at our location 74 Front Street. We're the bright red building next to the post office, and we have a small white mailbox next to our side entrance. We currently are not open to the public, but you can just put your work in there at any time and I'll get it and get it back to you as soon as I can. And the third method is to hand your work into your DEC. So your DEC can send your work through the Express or fax it to 807-737-1732 or toll-free fax to 1-800-463-7852. If you'd like to connect with me through social media, both my Facebook and my YouTube channel are under the name bslateWahsa. So all of our lessons are recorded and then uploaded to YouTube shortly after airing. And I share them on Facebook as well. So you can access them through both those platforms. Also, I've made short videos that explain common errors or confusing concepts that are both applicable to this course and other courses. So some of it might not be useful, but some of it might be helpful just if you're struggling with some concepts. So that can be a good place to go and check out if you need a little extra help and it's after hours and you can't get a hold of me. Otherwise, just feel free to ask. Math is a really visual subject, so I strongly encourage you to connect with the visual recordings. If you can't join live through Zoom, that's completely understandable. Everyone has full lives, but then I would really encourage you to access the YouTube replay so that you can pause things, see what's going on, and go back if you need to. If you don't have reliable internet and you can't get the YouTube videos, let me know, and I'm happy to send you a USB key or something that has access to the videos so that you can still see them without having to use a computer with internet. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. My email address is bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca. My Facebook is bslateWahsa. You can call me at the office at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or toll free 1-800-667-3703. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, today's lesson is actually a bonus lesson. So it's not in your IL book. You're not actually going to be graded on these topics, but they are really useful things to know about, and they connect to what we have been learning about. So we had a little bit of time, and I thought that it'd be really useful to learn about these things. They're part of your curriculum. They're just not part of your IL booklet, as the IL booklet narrows focus on certain things. So our lesson today is about alternative payment options. So we've been talking about loans, and we've been talking about buying, purchasing things, and interest and plans and things like that. But there's a few things that we haven't talked about that stores often offer, and we want to think about in terms of if they are good options or not so great options for your particular situation. So I just wanted to cover those today. So at the end of this lesson, the goal is that you will be able to describe different types of payment options, and you will understand the risks and costs associated with these alternate payment options. So you know that you've met your learning goals because you can calculate total costs of payment options with or without interest, and you can explain the costs of installment plans and late penalties. But first, as always, let's activate our brain with some mental math. So I'm not a believer in mad minutes where we scramble through a minute and doing as many math facts as we can. They don't actually teach us anything if either you know the facts or you don't know the facts, and memorization doesn't actually necessarily help you understand or help it make more sense. So instead of doing that, we focus on developing skills that we can use in various situations that we can decide what our own friendly numbers are and what are comfortable for us in order to use them in lots of different situations. So our question today is 64 divided by 8, and we're going to use the strategy of proportional reasoning. So proportional reasoning means that we are going to change our relationship. So our 64 divided by 8 is a relationship, and we're going to change that in the same proportion, in the same ratio, in order to figure out what 64 divided by 8 is. So the easiest thing to do with proportional reasoning is to think about if you can cut both of these things in half. So can we cut 64 in half and 8 in half and start working with less things to organize? So yes, I can cut 8 in half. So 8 divided by 2, 8 cut in half is 4. And 64, well, I can think, okay, well, 60 is like 6. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 60 is going to be divided by 2 is going to be 30. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 64 divided by 2 is 32. So I've still done the same. I've done the same thing. I still have the same relationship. I've just divided all of my things and all of my groups in half. And so now I'm dealing with less things and less groups, but they're still in the same proportion. And I'm going to look to see if I can do that again. Okay, well, I can divide 4 by 2. And I get 2. And then can I divide 32 by 2? Okay, so that one might be a little bit trickier. And so again, I'm going to think about, okay, well, 30 divided by 2 is 15. That's one that I just know. That's one that comes to my mind. So you figure out how that works for you. So then 15, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 15 plus 1 is 16. So half of 32 is 16. Okay. So then I look and I still have 2 even numbers, which means that I can still divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 16 divided by 2, well, what's half of 16? I'm getting to numbers that might be a little bit more familiar. And I know that half of 16 is 8. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 8 divided by 1, well, that just equals 8. So all of these things are the same. 8 divided by 1 is 8. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 64 divided by 8 is 8. So that's how proportional reasoning works, is that we can change our numbers in the same proportion, in the same ratio. And that means that they get to numbers that are maybe friendlier and easier for us to actually find our answer. So that's another way of doing division other than just doing long division, which for many folks just feels like steps and doesn't actually help. Okay. All right, let's do our minds on what in prior learning do we need to know. So really today, what I just want to talk about in terms of our prior learning is that often we see advertisements like this where it's like 0% interest for up to 6 months installment on something. This looks like maybe a bed. I think it might as a mattress. Or this other ad is 0% installment plan on, looks like on anything that you buy through your Visa, through these two public bank or Maybank companies. So that sounds really great. 0% interest sounds really good. And it is good, but we need to read the small print. So here in the minus in the mattress one, it says online purchases only. So this only applies for online purchases and it's only up to 6 month installments. So if you need it to be for longer than 6 months, then you're probably going to have a large interest rate after that. And for this other one, this asterisk where it says up to 24 months or up to 12 months, the asterisk always means that somewhere else there's something that says something else. So it's down here, very small, it says terms and conditions apply. So who knows what those terms and conditions are? You can look into that, but we just don't know what that actually means. It's not going to apply to everything for everybody. And so often when we see these alternative payment options, they seem too good to be true. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not looking at the details, if you don't understand the details, because many people don't have that financial literacy, then you're probably going to end up paying more money than you expected to. So it's just really important. These plans can be totally useful. I've definitely used these sorts of things. And if you do it as a conscious, active consumer and you making those choices, that is it's totally fine to use these sorts of plans, but you just want to make sure that you are doing what makes sense for you and that you have all the information so that it's not, you're not just basing the assumption that you have all the information off the top with just the general advertisements. The companies often want to trick you a little bit in order to make more money. That's how they make their money. So just something to really be conscious of. All right, so what are our new concepts that we're going to be learning today? First, when will you use this in real life? Well, we're learning to think critically. So many of us, we all are going to be spending money. We live in a capitalist system. That's how we survive, is by spending money. And in order to get the most of our money, we work really hard. Our lives are challenging and getting money is not an easy thing to survive. And so we want to spend it in a way that's where we can think critically and get the most for our money and we don't get ripped off. So that's what we're working on in this course and in this lesson. All right, so the first type of payment plan, or sorry, alternative payment option that we're going to talk about is layaway. And layaway is when the buyer puts down a deposit, often a certain percentage of the price, including the taxes, when you decide you want to buy whatever the item is. Then you pay the remaining amount when the item is picked up. So you don't get to walk away when you first put money down, you don't get to walk away with your purchase, but when you come back and you pick it up, then you pay the rest of it. So it gives you some time to gather your money. There are no fees applied using this method usually. And it has been very common method during recessions. So it started a lot during the Great Depression in the 1930s, where folks would need something, they'd put down a down payment so that they were committed to buying it, or they wouldn't be sold to somebody else, and then they would get their money together some other way and come back and pick up the odd whatever it was and pay the rest of it. And it also resurged again more recently in our most recent recession. But it's not as common most of the time these days due to credit cards. Credit cards are seem to be similar in terms of you don't have to pay it all right now, but you get to take it away, whatever it is that you're buying when you use a credit card. So that is something that more people, it's a little bit more convenient than putting down a deposit, going away, getting all your money and coming back. So let's see how it works. So Roxanne bought a signed Collector's Extreme Edition of Dirty Jobs for $155.80. She's required to put down a deposit of 20% of the price, including tax. So calculate the deposit amount. So this is often, if you think about, like, many people buy things like on Facebook Marketplace or on storage boards or things like that, where you might need to put down a deposit first, a certain amount, and then come back when you pick up and pay the rest of it. Is something that's a little bit more common these days, because those are private sales. You don't have to do tax on those things. But this is if you're doing it through a store where you need to pay tax, this is how you would calculate it. So first with this, because you're putting deposit down of the price including tax, we need to calculate the tax first. So moving forward, we're going to assume, if we talk about tax, that we're talking about HST in Ontario, which is 13%. So whenever we talk about tax, that is what the tax is in Ontario. That is where we are located. So that is the tax that we're going to be using, even though we know that it is different in different provinces and territories. That's what we're going to be using when we talk about tax. So to find the tax of this collector's edition of Dirty Jobs, so $155.20 times 0.13 is equal to your tax. So using our Desmos calculator, we're going to calculate that. So that's $20.18. So we need to add that to our price. So that's going to be $175.38. So that's what the total price is, including the tax, if you pay it all upfront. But the deposit is 20%. So deposit of 20%. So now we calculate 20% of $175.38. So we do the same thing to find out the deposit. So $175.38 times 0.20, which is 20%, is equal to, using our calculator, and you totally could do this without using a calculator, that's fine, $35.08. So Roxanne, make sure that we've answered the question. Would pay a deposit of $35.08. And there we go. That's what the question was asked. And that's how layaway works. So then Roxanne would come back later with the remaining $140.30 and give that, and then be able to take away the signed collector's extreme edition of Dirty Jobs. Okay, so the next type of alternative payment method that we're going to talk about is installment plans when there's no interest. So this means that it allows the consumer to get what they want to buy when the consumer wants it, when you want it. So you don't pay all the money up front, but you get to take away what you want. So you get to take it, whatever the item is, home without paying the total amount at the time of the purchase. The buyer usually pays a deferral charge or administration fee for the privilege of not paying the total amount at the time of purchase. So basically you end up paying more money because you aren't paying it all up front. The fee and the taxes are paid at the time of purchase, so that you pay at the beginning, and then you're going to pay the rest over time. And many stores such as the Brick or Best Buy offer pay later options and may not require monthly payments. So if the full amount is not paid by a certain date, a very large interest charge is applied. So there can be different ways in terms of different options, is that you can just say, they can say paid in 6 months. And so, or paid in 90 days. And then you pay a fee up front saying, and the taxes up front saying that you're going to pay it all, you're committing to paying it all in 90 days or 6 months or whatever the agreement is. You take home whatever the item is, the big TV or the car or whatever. And then by that deadline, you have to pay it all, maybe in one lump sum, maybe in payments. And if you don't do that, then they will apply a large interest rate and charge you that interest. So there also are specific online buy now, pay later companies. So you can just search them online, and then using them, you can buy various things. It's kind of like a credit card, except that it's a buy now, pay later payment system. But you would need to be really wary because high fees can be charged for any missed payments. So if you can't make the payments at some point, then you're going to end up paying a lot more money, because that is how they make their money, is by lending you the money and saying, yeah, great, you buy now and you pay it off later. But if you don't end up following through exactly to how the contract is, you end up paying a lot of extra money. All right, so let's look at an example and see how this plays out. So Andre bought a 52-inch plasma TV. The TV cost $5,200 plus tax. He decides to take the pay nothing for 90 days option. Afterwards, he will pay monthly installment plans for 24 months. The administration fee is $79.99 and taxes are due at the time of the purchase. How much must be paid upfront? So we know that upfront at time of purchase, sorry, I don't know. Okay, we need to pay upfront, we need to pay the administration fee and the taxes. So the administration fee is $79.99 plus the taxes, which is $5,200 times 0.13, because that is how we calculate the taxes. So to do that, we're going to do that math first. So 5,200 times 0.13 is equal to $676. So then $676 plus $79.99 for the administration fee is how much we need to pay up front. So we're paying $755.99 upfront. So that with paying $755.99, you get to take the TV home, and you're committing to in 90 days. So that means you don't have to pay anything for 90 days if you don't want to. Then you're going to pay an installment of the rest over the 24 months. So then let's see the next part of the question. So the next part is asking, what is our monthly payments? So we haven't paid anything, even though we paid over $700, we haven't paid anything on the $5,200 price, because we only paid the tax and the administration fees. That didn't take anything off of our original price. So that much is we're going to divide over all of our payment options. So our full price is $5,200, and we're going to divide that by 24, because we have 24 months on our payment. So for 24 months, we're paying a monthly payment. So to calculate that, we do 5,200 divided by 24 is equal to $216.67. So the monthly payments for 24 months, which is 2 years, are every month Andre's going to be paying $216.67 for this TV, on top of the $755.99 that they already paid at the beginning. And that's how you can do. So if you have no interest, you just divide your price and you pay it over a period of time. But you've already paid that extra fee, that $79.99 extra fee that you wouldn't have had to pay if you just paid it all up front. So it can be a good option if you were to just be like, I'll just put it on a credit card and then pay it off over time. The credit card is going to charge you interest, whereas this plan, straight through whatever the store is not going to be charging you interest according to the plan that they're talking about right now. So that can be a good option because it just gives you more time to pay it off in smaller chunks, which can be totally great as long as you're paying it able to pay it every month for those 24 months. So then we also have installment plans with interest. So the companies, the banks, they want to make money off you, and how they make money off of you is by charging interest. So they can loan you the money. They can say, yeah, sure, you can, you don't have to pay it all up front, but it means that they're going to charge you interest, which most likely, which is how they make their money. So installment plans still allow the consumer to get what they want when they buy it. And it means that they get to take the item home without paying the total amount at the time of purchase. Still with an installment plan with interest, you still pay a deferral charge or administration fee. That is still the same. And the fee and the taxes are paid at the time of purchase still, even if you're having an interest or not interest, that is all the same. Then once all the payments have been made, you end up, the total amount that you paid is more than the original price because you paid interest as well. So let's look at an example, another example here to see how that works. So used car is selling for a cash price of $3,999 plus HST. The dealership offers an installment plan. They require a down payment or large first payment of $1,000 plus monthly installments for $199 for 2 years. So first, let's calculate the total cost of the monthly payments. So what that means is, because we know that we're paying, we know the payment. So we're going to do the payment times the time to figure out how much the total is. That's for every payment of $199 times the number of payments. Now this one, because we're doing $199 per month, we have to do that for 12 months times 2 years. Or you could just do it times 24. It's the same thing, but I just broke it up in terms of months and years because we're doing it for 12 months. We're doing it monthly, so it's 12 months per year, and we're doing it for 2 years. So how much do they end up actually paying? $199 times 12 times 2 is equal to $4,776. $4,776 is how much they pay over their monthly installment plans. Then part B says calculate the total cost of the car, because not only do they pay that amount, they also pay $1,000 down payment. So to find the total cost, we need to have the down payment, how much we like a deposit, plus the installments. So we have $1,000 is how much they paid at the beginning, plus $4,776. So that's equal to $5,776. So this person ends up paying $5,776 by using this installment plan, where they pay down payment and then they have monthly installments for 2 years. So when you first look at the price and it's just like, oh, that's not too much money, it ends up being a lot of money and just something to take into account. So now if we compare that to so what would we would pay it right off the top. So part C says calculate the after-tax cash price of the car. So if we were just to go in with cash and say we're just going to buy it all right now, how much would that be? So we need to figure what the tax is on $3,999. So times, this time I'm going to times it by 1.13. Because remember, we could do it by 0.13 and then add it to our original price, or we can do it by 1.13, and that tells us it combines the two. So it gives us our price plus our tax. And you can do it either way in different situations, depending on what you need. So that's $4,518.87. So if I were to say, I want to buy this car right now, all cash, no deal, no payment plan, then you'd have to pay $4,518.87. So then part D says calculate the difference in cost between paying cash and paying using the installment plan. So if we were to pay using, so the difference, we're asking to find how much money is between the two, right? So it's going to cost us more to do the installment plan. So we're going to do the installment plan, take away the cash plan or the cash option. So going back, remember that the total, when we did the installment, our total is $5,776. That's how much money we paid if we do the installment plan. And if we do the cash plan, it's $4,518.87. So then what's the difference? How much more do we pay if we do the installment plan? So we're going to subtract it, $5,776, take away $4,518.87. And that's $1,257.13. So just by using the installment plan, we ended up paying $1,257.13 more than if you paid it up front with cash. Now, the reality is that most of us probably don't have almost $4,518.87 to just spend on a car. So we have to do it in chunks so that we can pay, that it's more realistic, that we can budget to pay $199 for over 2 years. That's more realistic. But that means that that's why we end up paying so much extra. And that's why dealerships and companies offer these options of installment plans, because it's affordable. It's something that we can actually manage, because we can't manage the full price. But it means that they end up making a lot of interest money, and that's how they make their money, as they make their profit on. So that's just something to be aware of. And then finally, we're going to talk about late penalties. So we've seen that stores offer various customer options of pay later, right? So stores are very happy to say, yeah, sure, buy this thing and pay us money later. Okay, very generous. Probably not. Often customers are required to only pay administration fee plus the taxes up front, or there may also be interest charges. So you could just have to pay the administration fee and the taxes, or you might have to pay interest as well. But however, most stores who typically offer this payment option will specify a particular date which product is to be paid in full. So they'll say you have 2 years, or you have 90 days, or whatever they'll say, but they'll have to be all paid off by that time period. Then if this payment is not met by the date, a significant interest charge is applied. So you're going to end up having to pay even more on the amount, because you didn't meet the deadline. So it's a large late penalty. Often these late penalties are written in the fine print. So we use the language of the fine print in contracts, is that they're often really long legal speak that can be very confusing. And many of us just glance over them and then sign them, agreeing to it, but don't necessarily know the details of it, because they're lots of paper, small text. It literally usually is small text, not tiny, tiny text, but a lot of words crammed onto a page. And that can be really daunting and overwhelming. And so we don't necessarily go through it and think about it as much as might be beneficial. And so then we end up maybe committing to paying a really large late fee if that's what ends up happening. So let's set an example to see how the situation might show up. So Quinn buys a dishwasher for $1,000 at Friends. She decides to use the pay later option. The store requires a full payment within 2 years and charges a penalty fee of 40%. So the administration fee is $69.99 and taxes are due up front. So how much is that going to be? So as always, taxes, we're going to calculate. So taxes on $1,000 is times 0.13. So $1,000 times 0.13 is $13. Is that right? I have to check my math just because I'm having a day. I'm always having a day. No, $130. That didn't seem right. I thought I was replaced value off. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so the tax is $130, and then the admin fee is $69.99. So we're going to add those two together, and we get $199.99 is how much Quinn must pay upfront. So Quinn owes $199.99 upfront. Okay, so that's to agree, getting the dishwasher, making a payment plan, we're good to go. So then assume, sorry, it's got the wrong name here. Assume Quinn only pays off 25% of the price of the dishwasher by the due date. So how much has she paid off? So remember, we haven't paid any of the $1,000 yet because we just paid the administration fee and the taxes. So 25% of $1,000 is 0.25 times 1,000, which is $250. So that's how much Quinn has paid in 2 years. Quinn pays $250 in 2 years. Okay. So then now what? So how much does Quinn owe on the dishwasher, including the late fees? So if Quinn has paid $250 already, that means she owes $750 of the price. So the price that she still owes, price owing, is $750. And she is charged a 40% penalty fee. So she's going to be charged a fee on the $750 because that is late. So you do 750 times 40%, which is 0.04. So calculating that, 750 times 0.040 is equal to $300. So how much does she still owe? So after 2 years, it's going to be, the total owing is 750 plus $300 is equal to $1,050. So after 2 years of paying payments or paying whatever, she still owes $1,050, which is more than the original price that she was going to, that she bought the dishwasher for, because she didn't pay it all off in the 2 years. So that late fee means that she's paying, even after 2 years, she's paying more than the original price because she didn't pay it off in that the amount of time that she committed. So that's why it's really important, because you think that, oh yeah, it's fine, it's whatever, but she ends up owing more than she's already paid, like more than she bought it for, because she didn't follow through on the commitment of the contract. So then in total, how much? So if she is able to then just keep paying it off, she pays it in full, how much does she end up paying for the dishwasher? So let's think of all the different things that she paid. So she paid the fees at the beginning. So like the deposit fees, which will be $199.99. And then she paid the payments for 2 years, which she only paid 25%. That was $250. And then the remaining amount and penalty fee was $1,050. So that means in total, she's going to end up paying Okay, so $199.99 is really close to $200. It's a penny off of $200. So I'm going to say that that's $200 just in my calculations in my head and say, okay, so $200 plus $200 is $400 and $50 and $50 is $100. So that is $500. So it's going to be 1,000. And then instead of it being $500, we just need to go down a penny to make it 99 cents. So then that's $499.99. So in total, Quinn pays $1,499.99. So original was $1,000 and now she's paying $1,499.99. So she ends up paying a fair bit, a chunk more. Yes, we still need to add tax onto the 1,000, but still she ends up paying a lot more because she wasn't able to do that payment. She had to pay a late penalty fee. And this also doesn't include in this example, there isn't any interest. So if she would have, if her payments had interest as well, she would have ended up paying even more. So just something to be really aware of in terms of these options can seem really great, but they might be too good to be true. And you really just need to decide what works for your household, so for your budget. Because it's totally fine to do it as long as it works for your budget. Okay, so let's consolidate what we've done. So again, remember, this is just a bonus lesson to develop financial literacy and make sure that people are spending their money wisely and are being informed. So you get to decide what makes the most sense for you, but you want to be an informed consumer so that you can decide what makes the most sense for you and you don't get ripped off. So we talked about layaway, which is when a deposit is made and the remaining amount is paid when the item is picked up. And this generally has no interest or fees. Then we talked about installment plans, which are things where you take the item now and you pay later, and they have administration fees, and they're usually with or without interest, depending on whatever the plan is that's being offered. Sometimes they're also like without interest for 6 months or for 2 months or 1 month or whatever, and then interest is being added after that. And then we talk about late penalties, where is if the full amount is not paid by the deadline, then a significant fee is charged, a significant percentage on what's remaining is charged and you end up paying another large chunk of money. So our success criteria are that you can calculate the total cost of payment options with or without interest. And you can explain the cost of installment plans and late penalties. So this is really important, is that if you can explain and understand it and make those choices, it's totally fine to use these things. That is no problem at all. But just that it's important to be making those conscious choices opposed to just doing it without intention and then ending up having to spend more money than you had hoped or planned. Okay, so let's do a few more practice questions just because these are a little bit different. It's important they can have a lot of information in them. So number one, a $999 computer system can be purchased in cash or by using the store's installment plan. Today, only the cost is 20% off the regular price for customers paying in cash. For customers using the installment plan, the down payment is 10% of the regular price plus 12 monthly payments of $79. Calculate both deals. So there's a lot going on in this question, and this is how it is in real life, is that you'll be in a situation where you're buying something, a salesperson is saying, oh, you can get, if you buy it today, you can get 20% off, or you can have an installment plan and you can pay it off for 12 months of payments of $79 and you only have to pay 10%, and that you get 10% off that. No, the down payment is 10%, right? So even just be trying to repeat it it's easy to get super confused. So we're going to calculate it to help us process. It's really always good whenever you're making big purchases to take a step back and think about it. So we're going to do two options. We've got our cash plan and our playing through our plan. So if it is cash, then it's 20% off. So remember, when we are calculating deals, we take the percent off before we put the tax on. So if we're doing $999 times 0.20 is our deal. So that means that we can take off, like that doesn't look right. Yeah, you have to multiply. $199.80. So if we just pay it in cash, means that the price is going to be, so the sale price is $999, take away $199.80, which is equal to, well, $999 take away $199 is going to be $800. Take away 80 cents is going to be $799.20. So that is the sales price. So then if we calculate the total cost with the taxes, so we do $799.20 times, I'm going to times it by 1.13 to have the total price plus the tax. So $799.20 times 1.13 gives us $903.10. So if you pay it in cash, or you pay it up front, debit, probably doesn't have to be actually cash, but then you're paying $903.10 today. You're good to go. If you were going to do the plan, so that means that we need a down payment of 10%, and then 12 payments of $79. So first, let's figure out what our down payment is. So down payment is $999 times 10%, so 0.10, which is going to be $99.90. So that's how much you pay to start with. And then your 12 payments, your payment plan over a year is going to be $79 times 12. So $79 times 12 is equal to $948. So then our total cost, or the total paid, is your down payment, $990 plus $948, which is equal to 148 plus 99.90, which is equal to $1,047.90. So with the payment plan, you end up paying more, $1,047.90, than if you just pay it up front for $903.10. But it's $145-ish. That's the difference. So you decide if you can't afford the $900 up front, but you can afford the monthly payments of $79 over time and the $100 up front, then maybe it's worthwhile to pay that extra $150 in order to get your computer so that you can, who knows, do school, do work, whatever. That might make sense for you. So that's why it's really important. Is not necessarily, sometimes you end up paying more money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is the bad option. If that's what makes sense, if you don't have $1,000 to buy a computer up front, but you need a computer in order to upgrade your education and then be able to get a better job, then great. Then use a payment plan. That investment of that extra investment of $150 means that you can do what you want to do in your life so that then you're better off or you're happier or whatever. So money saving money isn't the best thing all of the time. You need to decide what makes the most sense for your family and for your household. And it isn't always saving. It isn't always paying the less, but you want to be able to make that decision consciously, because if you have the $903.10 up front, and you're just like, well, do I just want to play the payment plan because then I can pay it over time and I have to pay smaller payments? But if it really doesn't matter to you, then you want to be able to make that informed decision so that you can do what's best for you. That's what the point of this whole lesson is, that being able to be informed so you can decide what is best for you and your household, your family, your people in your life. All right, so we're not going to go through any more of these other options or the other questions. They're the same idea, just different examples depending on how much extra time we had. As always, if you have any questions, if you want to talk about these sorts of payment plans and understanding them in further detail, feel free to ask. Even though they're not in your IL book, you don't need to do them for an assignment. It's totally fine to ask questions about them and talk about it. This is why I'm here, to educate and to support people. So it's not about just doing the questions and getting the grades. It's about actually teaching and understanding to set you up for success in your life. So feel free to reach out to me. My number at the office is 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or 1-800-667-3703. You can email me at bronwyn.slate, which is spelled BRONWYN.SLATE@nnec.on.ca. You can connect with me through Facebook at bslate Wahsa, and watch the replay of this lesson on YouTube at bslate Wahsa, as well as all of our other lessons. My hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I hope that this was a useful lesson, even though it didn't directly relate to your course assignments to get your credit, but hopefully this was useful in terms of life building skills and actual information that you're going to use in your own life. Hope you have a lovely day, and Miigwech.